Yo!
Yayo Talk Show!
Dreamin'! Don't give it up, Molly.
Dreamin'!
Don't give it up, Marco.
Dreamin'!
Don't give it up, Katie.
Dreamin'!
Al's name didn't fit. They talk about the show this group of four friends been going for a million years, there's no end. Watching every arc and saga, no sleep. It's the king of anime, 1,000 episodes deep.
Yayo Talk Show!
Talking about One Piece.
It's the name of the podcast.
We're not on Vine. Yayo Talk Show. Talking about
One Piece.
What's up, wenches, privateers, and non-binary buccaneers? Welcome aboard the most chaotic One Piece podcast on the Grand Line, Tenet. Let me introduce you to the crew. First, the captain of the CrUno Pirates, Molly D. Simpy.
What are you on about?
What am I on about?
What are you on about?
What's the wild theories Kate Jensen on about, isn't it?
What's up, everybody? How are you doing, lords and ladies? We're going to be talking about One Piece today.
He's from the street. And actually, you know what? I'm going to drop it really quickly
Please,
because
thanks.
we have a new member.
Oh,
We
yeah.
don't have the Laugh Doctor report anymore.
Murdered
we
him.
have
Dead.
the Laugh Borg, Al
Laugh Borg.
McClellan.
Yo.
Howdy, y'all. Oh, we were doing accents.
And scene. Thank you for coming to the podcast today, everybody. I hope you enjoyed listening to the intro and or possibly skipping over it to this part and then subsequently closing out of your browser. Have
This
a
is why-
wonderful rest
This
of your
is why
day.
you can't skip the intro because you'll miss primo. Look. All right. Okay, I'm spinning my chair around. Let me rap with you. We know you're skipping the intro. We can see it. We can see that you're skipping the intro.
Did you just 80s spy villain like the audience?
No.
You disappointed dad at the audience.
Wow, yeah, he's like, Leave It to Beaver's father has just entered the chat.
If you noticed, I both turned my chair around and my baseball cap backwards so that
Ooh,
I'm more
no.
identifiable with the children.
Well, you said
Did you
you'd
see-
rap with us.
Yeah, I rapped with you.
What'd you
Have
rap?
See, this is what I'm talking about. You're skipping the intro too. That's where I rap.
You rap monster?
Yeah.
Damn it. Well, I'm the brave warrior of the sea. The internet's Mark B. Donica. What if you didn't think we were chaotic before?
The
We've gotten
innet's Mock
past
V. Donica.
it.
The innet's Mock V. Donica. All right, the innet's Mock V. Donica. Be
Help
very,
me.
very.
Mark B. Donica in it.
I
Innit?
really need to stop. I need to
Help-
stop. I need to
help me.
stop this.
Help me.
Hey, I was
Crew,
past
help
and you help.
I know.
was
I
through
know.
it and you brought me back.
I read Laughborg's stupid
Laughborg.
post. It's the Laughborg saying in his Mock V. Donica, and I couldn't help myself.
Right, boy, you're seeing it.
We're coming in with some good energy today.
Oh God, we're here to talk about Gorp, but before we do,
This is a back to back. We took a small break. We're coming in
Hayden.
from. No, we're telling him if we're being real with the if we're being real with the kids out there, we pre-record a lot of this. Okay, you're not.
we were just talking about a lot of shows don't have PSAs anymore. So we're gonna be that bridge.
Yeah, here's the public service announcement. The things you think that take almost no work to do probably take longer than you think. The end.
The show.
Listeners out there, here is your PSA for this episode. I'm sorry. And that was your PSA.
You should apologize more. Yeah.
No, you're going to get the one up at the top
Talking
before they
about One
even
Piece.
know what they're getting into right
Yeah,
now.
no, Molly definitely needs to apologize for this episode, but let's
Already
find out
did.
why.
We haven't even gotten into the part where she needs to apologize for.
Preemptive.
Don't worry. Don't worry,
Apologize?
fam. We're gonna get there. No, you need to. No. There's a little bit of just like
What?
listen. It's okay. I love you and I respect you. Other people may not see eye to eye with some of the stuff that you're about
There's
to
a
like
big but
wax
attached
poetic
to
about.
the end of that sentence.
Other people may not like. No, we'll get there. Don't worry. You'll understand, audience. Give 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Mark,
Part of
please.
that 2 minutes is Caden. What episode of the show are you on?
In the last hour, I binged 600 episodes. I'm caught up. No, I'm
Completely
at
caught up.
522.
Congratulations.
I'm 522. I didn't do anything. We took a break. I had lunch.
So you finally made it to the part where Polly joins the crew.
Paulie's like, I can't believe that Paulie's face turned into a steering wheel, and he's the steering wheel on the ship.
You guys, we're not there yet. We gotta do a piece.
It's 4 cigars that turned into a wheel. Anyway,
Oh my
We're not there
god.
yet.
Wow.
oh my God, world! It's been a long time. Can you tell?
We've been here for 4.5 hours. No, 5 hours. We've been here for 5 hours.
I could do this all day.
We've all experienced 420.
Thanks, Cap. Oh my gosh, that's a double pun. Okay, never mind. Sorry.
So we left off of last week's Jesus Christ. We left off of last week's episode sad. And I'm not going to talk about what the sad was. You can go back and listen to it on your own damn time.
Well, f- yourself. I love you.
We're talking about we're talking about
What the hell is happening to the podcast?
we're talking about the hey, we're chaotic. This is all on brand. If we establish at the top that we're chaotic, we could say whatever the hell we want. But we're
haven't
talking
even
about
Yeah, go for it.
the end of the Water 7 saga, which is it's been a couple of weeks, or at least a couple of days, a couple of weeks. Everybody's sort of recovering. Usopp is still not with the crew, but people are starting to get new bounties. Frankie's starting to work on a ship, and the Straw Hats have commissioned him, and they came to an agreement, right? Of, well, you know what? I was going to build this big ship, but I'm going to make sure that I'm going to build it for you because I want to follow in Tom's footsteps and make the ship of the Pirate King.
You say that they commissioned a ship. Frankie stole the money.
Yeah. But it was the thing of like, hey, I already got the money, so I might as well actually do the thing you were going to have me do.
Bought a tree that is the same type of tree that Gold Roger's ship was made out of, and then through a series of events has decided now to use that to build them a new ship. Originally, he was going to do something else with it.
He stole the money and then went to Michael's and bought a bunch of crafting supplies, and then was like, I will use these crafting supplies to make you something.
He's building them a brand new ship out of those really, really, really nice cinnamon sticks that they have right at the the entryway to Michael's in the fall. Because you go in there, you gotta grab a bunch of the little brooms, the cinnamon brooms that they have. Yeah, it's that stuff. The pine cones are for decorations.
Big, like googly-eyed pine cone that looks like a lion on the front of a pirate ship.
That's our new ship since we're in Thousand Sunny territory. Spoilers.
Didn't we come up with a name for a ship for both generations of ship?
We did. I don't know where they are.
It's
but
somewhere in the pins, man.
If we replace anything, we're replacing Rudy with Pinecone Rudy, googly Pinecone Rudy.
Rudy's Revenge, I think, is our newer ship, and then I don't remember if it was the wild card or something else that was Rudy for our first ship.
Something. Like
That's right. I think it was the wild card, and Rudy's Revenge.
Rudy's Revenge, Reversal of Fortune, or the Wild Card.
Yeah.
Man, we had some, but there's almost too many good names that it's like it is all of. We just can't pick one.
Listen. One of those has to belong to the anti-CrUno Pirates.
Oh, we know. No, we had a name for them. I can't remember now.
No talk show.
Talk show. Yeah, no, I know, but it's
the Skip Bo Bandits.
I swear we gave them their ship a name. But all you need to know is that our masthead, much like Mary, much like Sunny, is Rudy.
Rudy.
Are we updating Rudy?
Also, real quick, no, we're not gonna update Rudy.
Okay,
no,
good.
it's
Thank
Rudy.
you.
We ride or die with Rudy.
Thank you. I don't want to leave Rudy behind.
Since we are doing these back to back, you guys are listening to them a couple weeks apart. Just to clarify, we were doing 2 recordings in one day, so we don't have any new iTunes reviews. But you guys should, if you want to, just leave us a little comment in the review section. Or if you are not within the States and outside of the States, and leave a review, please screenshot it and send it to us on our Twitter at Yayo Talk Show. On Twitter.
Yeah, dude.
And if you're listening to it on Spotify, please just send your review directly to our Twitter because Spotify doesn't let you do that.
Please send your kisses directly into our inbox. Thank you.
Kisses at yayotalkshow.com.
Also, like send us cookie recipes. I guess that'd be nice.
Oh, that'd be nice.
I'm looking for new cookie recipes.
Yeah, any sort of a pineapple upside down. Moving on though.
Please talk to us. We're lonely.
Senpai, please acknowledge us. Please notice us.
Acknowledge me.
Witness me. Okay. So please.
Baking these cookies.
You just
I'm
spray
done, I
silver on
can't.
them. It's like shining in chrome. But
Just like Wile E. Coyote.
Frankie build ship to for sail to straw hats to sail
Big
for
boat.
boat. While he's building the ship, though, we get oh my god! Like the amount, I forget how much information, or I had forgot before Caden blue pied this section of how much information comes through this section. We have new bounties for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We have a glow up from returning characters, Kobe and Helmeppo, who have been working with them boys who have been working with this Vice Admiral Garp, who busts his way into where the Straw Hats are staying, and punches Luffy square in the head, and it hurts him. And everybody's like, "How did that hurt him? He's
a rubber man.
He's a rubber man.
That's impossible.
Rubber man.
This is the most evil Marine that we've ever seen because he has a power that no other Marine has.
Love.
And it's something that can only is Luffy's biggest weakness. Being related to him.
Being related to Luffy is a pretty big. So meeting Garp and getting Garp in his full, Garpness is
in his full garb. The Garp garb.
I love when we see relatives, and this was sort of a great way to show. We've seen a little bit of Ace, and we see where some of the resemblance comes from. We see Garp, and that's truly the oh my god, there's more of him.
Yes.
How could somebody be like Luffy?
All of the Straw Hats were when they met Ace, they're touched. They're like, oh my, he's a reliable older brother. I get how Luffy has survived this long. I understand this amazing human of an older brother, Ace. Wow. I don't know. Has anybody else got goosebumps? And then they meet Garp and they're like, oh, that checks out. That makes sense. Yeah.
No, they're definitely related. Yeah, they're definitely related.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, the moment where
same stupid grin, same facial structure, idiot.
Same narcolepsy.
The narcolepsy is a big part.
The moment where Garp is like, I'm gonna beat your ass, and then Luffy's like, no, Grandpa, no, and then everyone's like, we gotta save Luffy, and they both pass out. Everyone's like, no, there's two of them. We can't help him. We don't know how to fight stupid with stupid.
So there's a couple of things that we got from Garp. We got it's like, oh yeah, I heard you ran into your dad. To which Luffy's reaction was, I have a dad.
I was born
of all of the
a papa.
Man, I get that feel though, right?
Big mood.
But we also we get the drop that the man that saved Luffy from Smoker in Logtown was his father, Dragon, and Dragon is the leader of the Revolutionary Army. And
cool. Can I get points for calling that earlier?
Stop.
Thanks.
Stop.
The sheer amount, and Caden, this is one of the moments. The sheer amount of comments that were tweeted at me that didn't tag you of how did she know? It's like we don't know. Okay,
You just saw between the code. Whereas we meet Garp for the first time.
Thematically appropriate.
The first time we meet Garp, he's this entire time he's been wearing a doggy hood, and it's who knows who this guy is? Immediately see that guy grin for a second, and you're immediately that guy is definitely related to Luffy. And then you see fucking Dragon sad ass, his entire face. Dude's got a face tattoo, and Kaden was like, Papa energy.
Dirty Daddy. He's Dirty Daddy energy.
Daddy.
That's the name of our ship, the Dirty Daddy.
Nope.
Nobody could possibly
Nope.
more be far away from the title Dirty Daddy than fucking Dragon. Oh my god.
No, he's a dirty daddy. Listen, he is a dirty, awful, nasty man.
Yeah, just keep saying he's a dirty daddy. He's a
Dirty daddy.
When you're saying Dirty
He's
Daddy,
a
I don't hear
dirty
Dirty
daddy.
Daddy.
Dragon D Nasty Man.
I hear he's a dirty daddy. That's what I'm fucking hearing.
No, you're saying it like that, but I'm saying he's a dirty daddy. He is a dirty.
And
you want me to say
imagine?
He's a dirty daddy.
No, I'm definitely,
daddy in it.
I'm definitely not projecting. Definitely not.
You literally ooh-wooed that whole time. Please.
Can you
please take this
imagine
conversation away from me. Please get away.
Dwagon? Can you imagine Dwagon saying "ada ada"?
Ada, ada.
Yeah, see, he can't
No,
be a
you
dirty
can
daddy.
listen. You can absolutely have masculine type voices do the ada ada and have it work. You just do ada ada, and it works perfectly fine.
I also want to hear Dragon say that.
Well, too bad
Dragon.
because it is now in your brain.
Yeah, I definitely saw that just now.
You want Garp to do it though. Moving along.
Molly,
Called out.
oh no, we haven't met that character in the show yet. But there's a character that we meet that is Garp like. I'll say that.
Shut up.
Molly has sent us Alan myself a picture with the caption, "Look at this slut," and I don't think she's put it in the main chat yet. And this is just serving a reminder both to the audience to tweet at Molly, "Who's the slut?" and also Molly to post the picture in the Thousand Sunny.
This is a character I've met now because I know
you know the character that we're talking about.
Oh yeah, that's got to be. It's like because I immediately was like, wait, there's more. There's another
there's
one.
Plenty of sluts you haven't. met
Okay,
in
cool.
One Piece.
Because I'm gonna call them out every single time and name drop exactly which ones
I
they
didn't
are.
think we would talk
as I see
about
them.
that slut today. All right, I don't need to be called out today. Keep this for the future.
No, we're seasoning the audience so that they can be prepared for it because now we're getting it. Because guess what? We're gonna start getting into Molly time, starting with Garp. Garp is the introduction to Molly time. Everybody was just like, "Oh, Ace is gonna be Molly." No, you didn't even. You haven't even. There is a whole like stable that Molly has.
The slut stable. Molly's stable of slut.
And Molly has only trotted out one of them right now, and it said is Garp.
Where did this horse girl analogy come from?
Oh my god!
Couldn't it just been like a harem or something? But
You
it's
just
like,
made it so
no.
much
I've been
worse.
rewatching Uma Musume Pretty Derby, so
I know. I follow
forgive-
you on Tumblr.
I know, yeah, of course you do. Thanks, Molly. Follow Molly on Tumblr. You'll see exactly the stuff that Molly's into.
Follow Yayo Talk Show
And
on
the Yayo
Tumblr,
Talk Show mostly.
and you'll be able to figure out that Molly runs it pretty quickly. But we get the drop of Garp talking. Garp talks too much. He drops Dragon. He drops the Revolutionary Army, and then he mentions. Then he's like, Shanks. Shanks. He's one of those Yonko. And then we're like, what does that mean? And then
Nani?
And so we get a further look at the hierarchy of the seas in the Grand Line and the New World of, we have the Shichibukai, which is a government-run, quote, organization. But then we have the Yonko, who are the four most powerful pirates in the sea. And do we get them? We don't get them name dropped. We just see them, but we know Shanks is one of them.
They drop that since we've already seen Whitebeard, that Whitebeard is at the same Shanks is at the same level as Whitebeard, basically.
Yes, and so we see the two others. We see what looks to be a female presenting silhouette and a male presenting silhouette, but we don't know who they are at this point. And it's just this huge drop, and Garp's like picking his nose, and he's like, "Oh, I probably shouldn't have said any of that. Just forget I said it." And like that changes everything. Similarly to what I mentioned in the last thing about the punch and the military and the scope getting wider, that just made the sea even bigger for Garp being like, man, Garp's the best.
Yeah, right?
We thought we were in there. We thought we were just like, it's the Grand Line. We're finally here. It's just like, this is a level 1.
This is the tutorial, bitch.
It's
this is the tutorial level.
all we knew about Shanks is that him and Luffy were bros and that they were going to meet up somewhere along his journey out into the sea. And if Luffy is like feeling good enough, he's going to show him how good of a pirate he is. Now things have changed. Not only is Shanks a big deal, he's one of 4 very big deals.
The biggest, even.
Almost the biggest.
The did they translate the emperor? Like it's like one of the 4 emperors, Yonko, meaning like 4 rulers, sort of. Okay, good.
Yeah, they definitely did.
We got the warlords and we got the emperors.
The
pirate. It's the pirate emperors.
It's the pirate emperors, isn't it?
Please, we haven't even. We're Foxy gaming this again. Let's go.
Oh, for Foxy's sake.
No. Oh, for the.
Oh, God.
Frankie finishes the ship. It's remarkable. The tangerines have their own grove. There's grass.
It's so
there's a weight room for bros. And a huge kitchen with a huge fridge with a lock on it. With Wasanji's one request. There's a hello, Molly.
Molly's gone.
You brought up the weight room.
For bros.
I was thinking about that one Frankie meme. It's the Star Wars prequel meme where it's the back and forth between Anakin and what's her face, Padme. But it's like Frankie and Zorro, and it's like, yeah, and there's a weight room that like definitely people won't use to be like it's like, yeah, and there's a weight room. He's like, so I was like, yeah, that definitely won't be used in fanfics for like sex scenes. And then it's just Frankie staring at Zorro. It's like, they won't use the bro weight room for sex scenes, right? Like immediately that's what I thought of. I'm so sorry.
Talk show on Tumblr.
They were barbell mates.
Oh my god, I gotta find that again.
Barbell boys. Barbell bros.
Oh my god.
No.
I quit.
Well, it's been fun. We made it to double digis and we gotta go.
Dab.
Dad on the way out.
Essentially, every member of the crew has a space and then some. And everybody sort of has their own quarters and their own offices, whatever, what have you. And as soon as Frankie does the cool guy thing and like salutes and heads off into the sunset, doesn't accept the offer to join the crew. And he eventually gets his Speedo stolen and it gets run through and he runs through town completely nude, as Americans are wanting to do. And
unfortunately,
they make it back to the Sunny, offers him one more time, and God bless Nico Robin, who's like,
oh no,
I'm literally gonna grab this guy by the balls and snap him like a glow stick.
Robin don't play around, all right?
And Frankie does ultimately what he wants to do, joins the crew, and goes out as the new shipwright of the Straw Hat Pirates. But we are missing somebody. On the way out...
Soga King.
Well, he's back to Usopp at this point. But
what happened? We don't know where Soga King went.
What?
No, God damn it! You wanted me to blow through this thing. Let me blow through this thing. Usopp. This entire time, Usopp's been sort of around. He's been in the background. He's been hanging out with Yokozuna, listening to everything that's been going on. So he hears all of the same information, and he's been waiting for the crew to start to say something. He's been waiting for them to be like, Usopp, you did a great job down there. Why don't you come back? And it takes him until way too late to come to terms with the fact that he made the decision. He has to speak up. He has to be the one to engage. And literally as the Thousand Sunny is sailing away and it being fired on by the Marines, he finally runs out to the coast and yells, "I'm sorry." And Luffy immediately throws a hand out, grabs him, whips him back, and they knock heads.
Just like this whole moment with Usopp, they're so specific that he went against Captain's orders, and kind of a lot of this arc between getting Robin back and finally saying goodbye to Mary it's this kind of moment of like Luffy is the captain and the captain's got to make hard decisions. And one of those things is that Usopp left the crew. The crew can't come crawling back to Usopp asking him to join because he's the one who left and he isn't the captain. Luffy is the captain. That has been decided. And they really, if Usopp wants to come back, he's more than welcome to, but he has to be the one to concede the role, right? That's not his role anymore. His role is to be the sniper. His good friend Sogeking bequeathed to him Kabuto, and it is now his turn to be the Sniper King. That is how he will be the proud warrior of the sea. And yeah, it's just one of those moments where it's like that moment where everyone like can't acknowledge Usopp because they're trying to fight off Garp, and he's just like, "Ha, hey guys, ha, hey guys." What?
And it's so, oh god, and speaking of Garp, and it's more of a like a "you better run, you snivelly little shit," and just starts hucking cannonballs.
Yes.
Like, what a monster. This was a fun way to resolve everything. We get a lot of information, but we don't really get to do a lot of like with it. It's just, here's all this information. You have to let that sit and fester while you go off on this next adventure, which is Thriller Bark, the spooky Halloween episode arc.
No, what? We were supposed to go to the Fishman Village. That's what they said. That's what they said they were going towards. What do you mean we're not going there next?
I don't know what you're talking about.
There's a McDonald's along the way they got to stop at first.
One black coffee.
Come on.
Yeah.
We're on our way. We're on our way to Fishman Island because that's exactly where the next heading is. So we got to go to Fishman Island. It's very important. Everybody has to go to Fishman Island.
Too bad. It's time for spooky.
But don't worry. We have stuff that gets in the way, and it only made me slightly mad. But
and this is a big deal for them. They have a goal in mind, and they're actually going towards the goal that isn't just One Piece. All right, it's like they're like, we're gonna go to Fishman Island.
They teased it at the beginning. At the beginning of Water 7, they're just like, oh, there's a Fishman Island, and Nami's just like, huh, we should probably. And then at the end of this, they're just like, okay, we're finally 100 and something episodes later, we're going to Fishman Island. Thriller Bark. Ready. It's like
before. Actually, something very important happens before.
No.
Like legitimately, something very important happens. This is where a man named Blackbeard is found on Bonaro Island by Ace.
Oh, wow. Have we not talked about this?
No, we haven't.
That really startled me. I thought we had already got. Wow. Oh no. I wasn't prepared for this. I was prepared for talking about Garp today. I wasn't ready for this.
Garp.
Right after they leave Water 7, we go back to before. But 3 days before Luffy left Water 7, Ace catches up to Blackbeard on Bonaro Island, and they fight. And this is where it's revealed that Blackbeard has eaten the Yami Yami no Mi, which is said to be the most evil. I'm just reading the wiki at this point, but he is a being of pure darkness, versus,
as opposed to the go ahead.
Well, no, versus Ace, who burns brightly.
He's a sun,
as bright as the sun. But this fight results in the capture of Ace by Blackbeard. And I don't think we know why at this point.
No idea.
We talk about how good that animation fight though was.
It was really good. It was really cool.
Really fights in the show.
Yes. It's such a short battle, but they like put so much heart into that episode. It was really epic. Epic.
And it's another one of those nuggets of information that we just have to sit on for a little bit. Of
quote unquote a little bit.
A little bit.
We have to think about the repercussions.
We have to deal with this for a little bit. Also, I was going to say the Yami Yugi no Mi. So
Yami Yugi.
Yeah. All right. Now we can walk away.
Ace comes through with a fire fist, and the fruit's like,
and Blackbeard says it's time to duel, and then pulls out his dual monster deck.
Wow, I'm into it.
Where's Duke Devlin in all of this? Anyway, I say a little bit. Because,
he's dimensioning the dice.
Yeah, you're right. I love that arc so much.
Me too. Where's the Yu-Gi-Oh podcast?
This is not the Yu-Gi-Oh podcast.
Caden, did you have the Game Boy Advance game?
I had every game.
Did you? But the Game Boy Advance Dungeon Dice Monster game.
Duke Devlin is so like
not a
okay.
yes or no.
Let me put it this way. Young Caden had a real big crush on Duke Devlin. So yeah, I bought the game with Duke Devlin on it.
Hell yeah. All right, moving on.
That's all I needed.
That's all I needed. That's all I needed to hear
Man
from you, too.
hot, yes.
Man
Let's
hot,
go.
yes. Dice throw dice, hot monster come out. Anyway, speaking of monster come out, let's talk about Thriller Bark, which was what the
Wow, good segue.
Wow, the freaks do come out at night.
Who's this freak? This freak ain't
This freak.
Who is this?
This freak ain't no gilf, but I say a little bit because this was only 45 episodes.
It felt longer.
What is 45 episodes?
Just only 45.
I will say
Listen,
this. For
a
those
lot of people know why I say only 45 episodes.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put some asterisks on this. There is a arc. There is a filler arc, and it's an entirely like thing. It does not matter. I watched the entirety of it. It's called the Ice Hunter arc. I hated it. It was like after the big high of Ennie's lobby and all the stuff that we were setting up, they're just like, we're gonna go to Fishman Island, and then they end up in this place with these, and I'm just like, I hate everything. I was complaining about it incessantly. I'm just like, this sucks. I don't like this. This is boring, and nothing happened here, and the stakes felt like way high for nothing. After Luffy did all of this stuff, it's like, this is dumb. This is dumb. I don't like this. I don't like this filler. It was like, I would have really just preferred they just like give the animators a couple months off, let them rest, and then like come back. It's like,
I would have taken another Boss Luffy arc instead of Ice Hunter. Like, I remember liking it at the time, but looking back, I'm like, skip it.
They stole the Jolly Roger, and then they got the Jolly Roger back. The end.
We got it.
That's it.
The
Thriller Bark.
animators wanted to get lost in a little AU for a little bit.
We stole it from you.
What if the stakes were so low that it went to the negative values, but because we only go up to
Made everything cold.
but since we can only go up to a certain value number, we can't go into the negative, it circles back to the highest number.
May I say, Caden, stakes like that are a medium rarely well done.
Whoa! Whoa!
Kill me.
Whoa!
I literally was just going to say, ha 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 ha, something small, medium, at large. Continue.
Yeah, thank you. You recognize I'm bowing and dabbing at the same time.
Yeah, I know.
Whoa!
From
Badab.
Thriller Bark.
From the ice. God damn it! From the Ice Hunter arc, we arrive in the Florian Triangle in the Devil's Sea, and we start to. It gets all misty and it's all spooky, and everything is just starts to get a little bit terrifying.
You skipped one thing though. They come across this. They have they're like running out of food. They see a barrel. They bring the barrel on board. Fireworks happen, and they're all just like, "Well, that was stupid." And then, nothing else happens for a while.
They got like glitter bombed. They got a tube in the mail, and they're like, "Oh, what's this?" And then they open it, and they're like, "Oh, there's glitter everywhere." And they're like,
"Okay." And then everything gets foggy. Please go continue.
Then everything gets foggy, and they see a derelict ship, and they see a goddamn living skeleton.
Jack Bonesman?
Like,
Jack Bonesman? Is it a Bonesman? Named Jack?
Made out of bones.
What?
Bone?
Jackie Boy Bonesman.
Are you sure? Do they need to go check? Does
Back
Luffy
Jonesman.
Does Luffy and I don't know, Sanji and Nami need to go check and see if he's actual Bonesman?
We should probably send them.
Just in case.
It's the best because Luffy shows up and asks two questions. Can you poop? And will you join my crew?
I love that's
yes
big,
to both.
Big Molly energy.
Yes.
Big Molly energy. This is the return of Luffy's,
I don't want to be rude. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't state the obvious. I would ask the interesting questions.
If you ask him, are you going to join my crew? And they say no, do you feel comfortable asking the poop question anymore?
You got to come in hard. You got to come in hard with the poop question. I want answers first.
Poop first,
Yes.
then will you join the crew?
Poop first, ask questions
like,
later.
I'm not gonna ask this guy, oh, are you a skeleton? Are you alive? No, that's for the people holding the brain cell. I'm coming in hard with the you gotta tell me. I gotta know. We'll leave you alone. I just
And
gotta know.
Where does the caca?
You really need an icebreaker question after that last arc.
Yeah.
Where does the caca come from on the skeleton?
And then the guy, without missing a beat, is just like, yeah. And then you're vibing with this guy, and you're like, you gotta join my crew. That's just how that goes.
And then he also says yes.
And then he's all, Al, what did you do?
Do we know his name even at this point? Does Luffy even know? Do we know Jack Bonesman's name? No, we don't.
No, he didn't. He invited him before he introduced himself.
That's right. This is like Luffy's just like, skeleton, do you poop? Yes. Will you join my crew? Yes.
Yeah. Whatever.
I think I killed Mark.
This is so on brand for you, Al, where you say something and I don't hear it at all, but all I hear is Mark's reaction to it. And then I'm like, great, now I'm going to listen to our podcast to hear what you said.
A tragedy. How dare
Oh, man.
Hey, Molly.
Only hours in the day.
Molly, do you skip the intro?
Oh, yeah. Correct.
That
That was 3 simultaneous dabs. Oh my god.
Do you poop? Will you join the crew?
Al, I have to bump that because that was such a good goddamn joke that the other two didn't hear. That was so goddamn funny.
Was it something related to caca? That's all I heard before I heard Mark start busting.
I said you definitely need a good icebreaker question after that last arc.
Oh, look at you. Look at this guy.
That's what I expected.
This is what happens when we
died.
This is what happens when we upgrade to the laugh Borg.
It was added to it that Caden and Molly just kind of went past. Like, Al, you're fucking non sequiturs, like in the middle of like, oh god, like it was just like.
You got to watch out for the quiet ones. Is what happens.
Something that he gave up in principles on. Well, what about your vice principals?
Like
that was the funniest thing ever. That was the funniest thing ever. That was the fun. There was no funnier joke. Everybody stopped writing jokes. That was the funniest joke.
It's so insane how consistent Al will do these jokes, and they just go clear over my head until Mark clips it and puts it in the Discord, and I just like did not hear. I hear Al like. And then I hear Mark start busting up laughing, and I just my brain has not processed anything Alice said. I just know he said something with a pun or something witty.
It's like the moment in Dead End Adventure when they're having a conversation with the bartender and Luffy and Zoro are talking.
No, entirely that. Well, you're the dumb one. Why am I the dumb one?
Well, because I'm a pirate. And he said only dumb people and pirates do it. That was, I was crying.
Every time. Where are we? Jack Bonesman.
Bonesman. Yeah, so Luffy invites him on the ship for a meal, despite not knowing anything about him, just because, like, look at him. He's a skeleton and he's got a top hat and an afro.
You're gonna not ask more questions? This is like, come over for dinner. Even though previously 2 minutes ago we really said we didn't have that much food.
We're immediately vibing with Brooke at this point. And it's a great way to flip this sort of trope on its ear of we go to a new island, we go through a new arc, we fall in love with somebody, and they join the crew afterwards. We started with that here.
Almost everybody immediately says no to Luffy, and Luffy's like, all right, I'm going to force friendship upon you, and we're going to have a good time. And this is the first time somebody has come willingly. We just had Frankie streaking throughout his hometown. And
get his glow stick bent.
Yeah, and it's like there was a whole parade to get Frankie on the ship, and then this time, like within like X amount of like episodes, probably 2 chapters, maybe like 5 chapters because of the Ace thing. 5 chapters since then. Now it's just Brooke being like, okay, yeah, all right, you guys got cable? Like I got a lot going on here. My mom put some games on it.
My mom was.
There's a couple caveats about Brooke joining, though. Mark, would you like to explain some of the a little bit about Brooke, about what makes this a little bit too complicated?
Wait, what's his full name?
I mean, the gentleman skeleton Brooke.
Yay, Jack Bonesman.
So while they're sitting down at dinner, he's like, "Okay, look, I would love to join you guys, but there is a problem." So one, he explains that he was once alive and he ate a devil fruit, which gave him a second life, and explained
Free guy. You got a free man.
coming soon to theaters and Disney Plus. But
Wow.
he explains that
live action Brooke is Ryan Reynolds confirmed.
Dude, slap my money down on the
I'd
table.
watch that.
But he doesn't have a shadow. He doesn't have a reflection. And Brooke explains that his shadow was taken, and he can't leave the Florian Triangle because if he steps out into the sun, he would like get ashed. He would disintegrate. So he was like, "Look,
That's how old he is.
Yeah, fucking he farts dust." Oh my god! And there's that segment on the table where he eats full stomach belp and then fart and then like, oh god, like if you didn't love him then, come on, there's no hope for you.
Yeah, how
You guys
dare
fell
you?
in love with Frankie. Your standards are both high and low, so just accept the guy for who he is.
Yeah, truly. But says that, hey, I can't leave. The sun will kill me. So vibes, right? And
yeah, just like everywhere right now.
Seriously,
a whole mood.
Mood. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for, not vibes. Anyway, the gates of a ship called Thriller Bark come and surround the Thousand Sunny, and now we have our heading because our heading came to us, and it is this big ship island, big spooky vibes. Before Brooke departs, he asks if they came across a random floating barrel. And of course, Caden, as you mentioned, the very important plot point of the fireworks barrel that signaled as a marker for the island of Thriller Bark to come and surround the ship and take hold of the contents within. Because first of all, it looks like an island, but we find out that it's a ship. And Luffy sees Spooky Island, and naturally, he wants to explore. So instead of just going out, they take advantage of the Thousand Sunny's new compartment for smaller vessels.
Soldier Dock.
Soldier Dock, that's right. And we see, for the first time, the Mini Mary.
Mini Mary!
Which is their small vessel that can take them from ship to shore.
It's a paddle boat.
Did anybody else get a little emotional seeing Mary again?
I mean, we just buried our friend. Of course, we're getting emotional.
It's the spirit of Mary continuing on. It's the child of Mary.
It's the Mary that Mary always deserved, not being an entire ship, just being a little ship who's like, I got you. I'll help you get groceries. Like, you know.
It's the scooter.
Yeah, we'll have a fun time.
Way better than calling it a dinghy.
This is the boat that you use casually at your lake house. This is not the 20-galleon ship you take into battle. All right, this is the energy that Mary has always exuded, but they just played too hard with the boat. This is the Mary that Mary always wanted.
And it's also made out of a more sturdy material than plywood.
Yeah.
It's made out of hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
It's made out of Adam. The
treasure wood.
Yeah, treasure. The treasure twee.
The treasure twee.
Adam the treasure twee.
Oh, I know we just buried Mary, but it's
However.
like thank God, but he didn't already love Frankie, that he's just thinking of this stuff. Like he's just like, they would love this.
Like, look, guys, I know you've been through a really hard loss, so I decided to get you something extra on top of the ship that I built with the money that I stole from you.
It's one of those things that's like, hey, I know that thing you lost was with you for a very long time and nothing could ever replace it. However, I made you this new thing that's similar to it. It's like, oh, you remember that stuffed animal you had as a kid? Yeah, I got thrown into an incinerator. But I'm sorry, I heard about that. So I sewed you a new one by hand from me. That's basically it. That's the energy.
Did your dog die? Oh, I'm so sorry, but he's a brand new puppy.
Please stop crying in front of me. Take this dog.
For a guy who genuinely thought he wasn't gonna go with them, like that he thought he was gonna stay behind and just do whatever Frankie does.
Stuff on the boat that was themed.
And
for
he's
him.
like somebody's like, they'll find it eventually, and now he's kind of like, oh, you guys
he definitely within moments are just like, they would have never figured this out. Robin
Yeah,
would have, but
immediately.
Robin wouldn't have told them because that's not fun for her.
He gave like Usopp and Nami like a couple sticky notes, and he's like, "That'll be good enough." And then he's like, "Oh, I guess I'm coming too. They have my shorts. I gotta go." But yeah, the mini Mary. I know it's.
Have shorts, will travel.
I mean, we're still grieving. We're still grieving. We're still grieving. But mini Mary is just such a very entirely kind thing. Like immediately after that arc, that's just like, oh.
If you didn't like Frankie before, him making the mini Mary should have won you over. And if it doesn't, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Just like it's just.
It's when he literally puts all of their thoughts into building this ship, and then it's just like, but I'm not done yet. And then comes out with like all these little thoughtful additions that don't even have to do with the ship proper. And it's like, oh,
just so thoughtful. It's just it's like I don't know. I'm sure he knew how much it meant to them, but it's just like, wow.
And how much the weight room meant to all the fans on AO3.
Oh man, those
Frankie sighs, continues nailing the room together.
Okay, but
nailing the room together is definitely the term and phrase that you want to use for that.
Sighs even louder.
Frankie definitely is not the person who's like, oh, they're gonna fuck in here. He's like, all right, they're gonna fuck in here. Like, fuck yeah. As he's like got like Smash Mouth playing in the background and he's sipping
thumbs up
in his Guy Fieri shirt.
He knew. Come on, this is the freak of the week we're talking about here.
No, new freak is here. The new freak is here. Brooke is here.
The new freak
okay, there's a freak of the week. There's a freak of the
But then they left.
Wait. Freak of the week, derogatory. Freak of the month, affectionate.
That's true.
Like employee of the month. But it's always Frankie.
Hey, you get the placard with the second one.
Yeah, but it's just always
you get
Frankie.
a placard and a $20 gift card with the second one.
He's very proud of it. He like cleans them every month when he gets a new one.
It's just all pictures of him.
What are we talking about again?
Instead of a gift
Thriller
card,
Bark!
it's a coupon for one free back massage.
From who?
Whoever
Himself.
Whoa.
from the previous freak of the month.
Oh yeah. Detaches his hands and rubs his little
that.
He would. He would do that.
Put it past him. All right, the guy made Mini Mary. He can do anything.
Large hands.
God. So yeah, Mini Mary.
So a lot happens, and in the sense of there's a lot of exploring the island, and we get the crew in various degrees of terrified or aimless, and the one character that never seems to be like truly scared of anything is Luffy. And whether it's courage or pure just stupidity, he's just like, oh cool, zombies. And another one of my favorite moments of the show is the first zombie rising from their grave. And Luffy goes, well, that's not right. And he just puts them back in and
people who know nothing
back into the
people
ground.
who know nothing about One Piece know that gif. They have seen that gif. They think that gif is hilarious. They just like, what would you do if you saw a zombie? And then it's just Luffy be like, they're there, and like shoving him back into the ground. That is like a lot of people that I know who's like, isn't that the show with the zombie? Like where he shoves them? I'm like, yes, that is One Piece. That is One Piece entirely.
So you're like, there's so many like clippable moments in this arc that are just like really fun and really funny. ... However, there's also a lot of really, really messed up stuff. There's one particular character, or it's actually there's pretty much the two main like villains we see before we actually get to the ultimate villain of this, which is Gecko Moria. We have Absalom and Dr. Hogback, and both of those characters have very I'm trying to find a nice way to say this. Which, I was gonna go a little bit further than that.
Cancelled.
No further than that. I was going to say that it's like unwanted physical contact.
There you go.
And removal of other people's agency by force.
Mm-hmm.
So Hogback has this thing where he can create these creatures, which are like the basically a soul from somebody else, and then the body of this. Sindri is one of these particular characters that he keeps close. And we find out later that Sindri's body is actually belonging to someone that he was a stalker. I'm just going to point it out right there.
Absolutely.
Hogback was absolutely a creepy stalker who had this made up relationship in his own head with this woman who was already in love with somebody else. And he made this whole thing up. Then he was the cause of her death, then stole her body, then stole the soul, used his boss's ability to steal souls, then put a new soul in that body, and then has control over her agency. Like, he can order her to do things because he created this version of her, which is, and you're going to censor this, but it's fucked up. It is pretty fucked up.
Pretty fucked up.
Absolutely.
It made me really uncomfortable. It made me super uncomfortable.
As it should.
It's such a shame because Sindri is such a great character, and then Hogback exists as the crux of her existing, and I'm just like, I don't like this. Versus Absalom, who, and yet another reason that our good chef is canceled. Absalom has the Suki no Mi, which is clear fruit. Which means that he can turn invisible, which Sanji's just like, I wanted to have that fruit because then I could spy on women in the bathroom, which is exactly what Absalom does. So they have this bonding moment over being absolute horrible people.
Canceled club.
Hogback and Absalom are terrible.
The smidge of decent information we get from that interaction between Sanji and this guy that I hate, two bros I hate, is that Sanji at some point has read a book that states every single known devil fruit. That's how he knows about the invisible fruit. That's the only reason why he knows that. So there's it's such an interesting thing because so many times in this show we see people being like, "Oh, rubber man! What do you mean?"
I didn't even know rubber existed.
Whereas in certain parts of the sea, it's yeah, what about it? There's a whole book about it. What do you it's where do you get your news source from? I had a book as a child that told me about these stupid devil fruit, bro. Coming off the guy from the last arc who's if your devil fruit and my devil fruit stand next to each other, they'll get mad. And it's just a book somewhere that's just yeah, it's a fruit. It's Zoo. It's Zoo Books,
an ingredient.
The magazine.
I'm gonna say something because we're bringing back Wild Theorist for this episode.
We are.
Molly, you've just given me some information that I didn't previously understand, and now I do.
Oh no!
Whoa, that was a good laugh.
I don't even know what that's reference to. Buggies?
We're gonna have fun today.
Buggies?
I don't even know what I did.
Yeah, I am so many. The thought.
I'm so scared.
My
Molly,
brain.
Molly, could you hit the
Buggy
button?
Boys, help. I don't know what I did. Buggy Boys? Buggy Boys. Help.
Molly, I'll be completely honest. I have no idea what you said.
I don't. I mean, listen.
I don't know what.
Caden will tell me what I said later, but I'm just Buggy Boys, help.
I guess let's go through the rest of this arc real quick.
If you don't necessarily want to deal with that, there's a lot of this you can kind of skip over.
Well, I also don't really want to talk about I want to talk about the viable pieces of information that we get of Nami and Lola, and it's the fact that Chopper learning that not all doctors are doctoring, but not all doctors are good people.
Chopper met his first hero and realized that the people that you look up to sometimes aren't good people. And
shockingly,
that's
people in positions of power aren't all great.
Relatable to almost everybody imaginable who's ever been I love this celebrity, I love this musician, I love this, I love that. They bad? They're a bad people? They're not good? That good? Canceled forever. Canceled. And Chopper finally is just ooh, cancel culture. I understand it now. Anyway.
Well, no. So from there, cool, done. Shindri ends up standing up and regaining some of her autonomy back. And it's a moment that we wait for the entire arc of like, come on, Shindri, please. Absalom gets absolutely wrecked by Nami, and Nami meets a new friend in Lola, who what form does she take as a zombie? I forget.
Warthog, right?
A warthog. Yeah. Okay. And they become besties. And we meet along this adventure. We meet all of the zombies that were created from Gecko Moria, whose devil fruit allows him to steal shadows.
Dickhead.
And similarly to what we learned from Brooke, so we find out that Gecko Moria is responsible for stealing Brooke's shadow, and we meet all of these other people that don't have shadows, but still sort of make a life out of living on Thriller Bark. Because
also the fog.
This dude literally looks like a gourd. Like, and it's not even like it literally just looks like a gourd. He looks like a gourd.
It's spooky. It's spooky, scary. Spooky, scary.
He'd like
for such a fun,
like a pumpkin.
For such a arc where everybody has
Hot Topic Island.
Everybody's designs slap. The energy is hot. It's like Nightmare Before Christmas level of fun energy, and there's just so many weird and not okay things happening here. But it's just like it's so forgettable and so beloved. It's such a what a great arc.
It does introduce one of my favorite characters in the series though. Which is Perona.
Yeah, I knew it.
Perona has the Horo no Mi, which had to, sorry. Which is the hollow fruit, which allows her to leave her body, turn herself into a spirit, and kind of float around and project like visions and versions of herself that are intangible, which is kind of cool. She also can spawn little ghosts that suck the will and energy out of people. Basically, makes you tired and sad. So basically, like a 9-to-5 job.
Bad vibe. Bad vibe.
Like working and going outside for too long, or music that is played at a decibel that is just too loud from a building about just far enough away for you to hear it at 2:00 in the morning. Things that just make you, tired at 8 in the morning.
Bad vibes. Bad vibes.
It's the bad vibes ghosts that she spawns and just like sends them. Just like, you know what? Bad vibes for you. Bad vibes for you. Bad vibes for your cow. Bad vibes for your family. Bad vibes. But she's got some great reactions to like some of her animation stuff is like really fun. She's got an amazing voice. She's such a fun like Gothic Lolita inspired pink bubblegum character, but her attitude is very like I want to feel it feels like Ojo-sama-esque, but it's just like she's still in Ojo-sama training, so she doesn't quite have that. Which is why she's got the Horo stuff going instead.
She's a ghost princess.
She's like baby metal before
That's
baby
true.
metal existed.
Yeah.
Really
oh yeah, entirely.
She also has her second in command, which is a giant teddy bear named Kumashi. Kumashi is hilarious.
That guy is just constantly like eyes bulging like that is a mood. That is an entire mood.
Just shocked and in terror at all times.
That guy was me 2020. That was Molly 2020.
For real. There's also another really important character that we introduce, which is Ryuma, who we mentioned earlier.
Shimotsuki Ryuma.
Earlier, we mentioned that Brooke had his shadow stolen amongst everybody else who comes anywhere near Thriller Bark. So his shadow went into the body of this legendary samurai from the Wano country. Still don't know what the hell that is, or where, or when, or anything.
I have a little bit of backstory for that. So Shimotsuki Ryuma is a character from one of Oda's like pilot mangas called Monsters, and it is canonically confirmed to be the same Ryuma that shows up in that comic. And it was recently announced, just to date ourselves, it was recently announced that Monsters is going to get a voiced comic adaptation in September with, quote, a super luxurious cast.
Dun dun dun.
But you see a swordsman and you go, well, there's only one natural opponent for this guy. And Ryuma was like zombie swordsman. Like, are you kidding me? That's rad as hell.
He was like, not only that, he was like real good. Like, dude, and when he was alive was real good, and then he got a real good shadow to help his real goodness, and it's just like,
yeah, he got double.
How did this guy? It's like even like Brooke, who's trying to get this. Like he's basically fighting his shadow version, right? It's just like Shadow.
It's Legend of Zelda.
But if Shadow Link, like the body that the Shadow Link was in was already pretty OP, and it's like, oh man.
It's just really, it's bad for Brooke. It's bad for Brooke because it's like, take all of his like really clever style of fighting and then mix it with somebody who's spent their entire life dedicated to the craft of swordsmanship. And it's like, oh, that's bad news. That's bad news. But like, what a cool, like, the moment I saw Ryuma, I'm just like, okay, so he's got a really cool sword that seems to be like, he talks about it like it's a legendary thing, cool, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so Zoro just lost a sword. Zoro's getting this as a sword. We all know it.
Oh, that's right.
Zoro did lose a sword.
It was
the Rust guy, right? At the end, for no reason. It was like, pop, and it's like, that happens. But, so Ryuma, it introduces a lot. Ryuma introduces a lot of concepts that some of them I haven't even gotten to yet, and I don't even know if we fully explored in One Piece yet, because I haven't been there, so don't spoil that for me. But it's like his existence simply gives some information. It's like there is a place called the Wano Country that this guy came from, which is in a place that we can't even fathom being yet, because it's just way out of our league. He has a sword that is ridiculously strong and has power in and of itself. And it's like, okay, so Zoro's gonna like bond with this dude a little bit before
yo, cool sword, bro.
Before
cool
before sword, spoilers, Brooke gets his shadow back.
Oh no.
Oh no.
But pretty much everybody else in this, there's another like, at some point a bunch of the crew get their souls taken, including but not limited to, in major capacities, Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, and
Robin?
Robin doesn't lose hers for very long. In fact, it's like barely a minute. I'm trying to think of. No, I think that those are the three big ones.
The chaotic trio.
Yeah.
Luffy, Sanji, Zoro for sure.
Zoro's gets put into this zombie who's a ballerina, with a pencil mustache is what we were calling it.
Toothbrush mustache.
Toothbrush mustache. Thank you. Sanji's appropriately gets thrown into this penguin dog hybrid, which is really creepy looking and probably accurately looks a little bit like Sanji's soul. And then Luffy's gets put into this freaking ancient giant demon lord that is several stories tall and is bigger than any other giant named Oars.
Oars,
dude.
Oars, bro. Love Oars. So shout out to Oars. Shout out to my Oars out there.
It's literally kept in the freezer of Moira's mansion. Where do you store your giant bodies? In your giant body freezer.
You gotta hoard, when you get the good bodies, you gotta hoard the bodies for when you get that good shadow, you know?
And it really becomes it really becomes this weird like race against time, but time is kind of like this weird loose construct on Thriller Bark, because they kind of like try and stay in the fog / dark as much as they possibly can. But they do mention that the sun will come up eventually. And if the sun comes up and they're all outside and they don't have their shadows, they are dead forever dead.
Game over, man.
100,
Game over.
100% dead.
You die in the game, you die for real. I can just hear Al like muffled giggling in the background.
And I
yeah,
think that's like
stakes.
most of the major stuff, because we already talked about no, wait, yeah.
What?
There's another semi-important thing that we see like I'll give this one to folks out there. At some point we meet this one zombie pirate named Captain John. If you're following along, if you're following along with us, something happens in this arc and somebody gets a piece of John's treasure. Hold on to that information. We'll come back to that later. Not this episode. We'll see in 3 episodes when it becomes relevant.
I thought you were going to say that this is the first time we
4
see
episodes. Frick.
This was the first instance of many instances of pirate docking 6 giant robot Big Emperor.
Oh my god.
Which is possibly one of the funniest. Like, again, there's these constant moments in this arc that make you go, I mean, you like Frankie, right? Like how
Frankie funny. Frankie funny.
Funny
guy.
And then also the immediate relationship that he and Robin have of like, I'm not going to do that. You all look ridiculous.
There's a lot of camaraderie. I mean, like the 2 of them just almost got executed together. Mom and Dad almost got executed.
That would hurt.
No. Frankie does not have dad energy. He's got funky uncle energy is what he's got.
Well, he has the oldest guardian energy. He's the person who's watching you while your dad's gone, but he still has a little bit of authority over you. The 2 of them, there's a little bit of camaraderie when you both like punch the same guy and like the dude takes bullets for you and tries to free you from jail, even though you're going to jail too. But there's just something. There's a lot of really good Frankie bits in this arc. Like I immediately thought of when he's like, "Hang on, I'll make a bridge so we can get across," and it's like a perfectly constructed bridge where he's like, "Hang on, this part's like a little lopsided," and then they're like, "This is beautiful. Like you didn't have to do all this. Like this is great." And then the juxtaposition of that, where like all the guys are on board with Frankie. They think Frankie is so cool. And then this moment where he's like, all right, like robot, like Voltron form, like Avengers assemble. And it's like, and it's like, Robin, come on.
Everybody's in on it.
Did you hear the assembly part? And she's just like, no, I'm not doing that. I am not.
It's also
listen to me. I have the brain cell and I'm choosing not to use it, but I'm gonna use it for this. I'm not doing that.
She also like gives like the most angry face, like one of the most angry faces ever.
She's insulted. She's so insulted.
The line she says is, "It would hurt my human pride."
She's like, honey, that's too much of a freak for me. That's too freaky.
Robin is probably the most seasoned of the knowledge in like what the lengths of Freak of the Week look like. And this was just like, no, that's too much. No, that's too much. I'm sorry. That's too much for me.
There's a handful of jokes that Oda does in the series that's kind of like, girls aren't into it, but boys are super into this. And like one of the jokes has always been the stag beetles, like the Kabuto Mushi that Luffy and Usopp and Chopper are always like, it's epic, that's so cool. Like, look at this guy. This guy's so Hercules. Wow. Like, and then Nami's usually in the background, like,
boys. Yeah,
I mean, it's a really, we're gonna. Okay, whatever.
Not bad.
And it's like the other joke that they do that's very like pushing gender, where it's like, you don't get it because this is a guy thing. Every cool robot thing that Frankie does, where all the guys are like losing their minds over, they're like, that's epic, dude, that's so cool. And then it's like in the background, it's just Nami and Robin staring and not reacting. And they're just kind of like witnessing what's happening, but they're just like,
to be fair, they see a lot cooler stuff all the time. And they're just like, Frankie, you like turning, it's like, you know, it's like detaching his hand and there's a chain that's just like, oh, look at how cool that is. Like, guys, like 5 minutes ago, we saw a dude who literally could just detach his hand and it floats and it's not connected to anything. And they're just like, but the chain is and he's a robot. And they're just like, There's others. We've seen it. All right, let them have this.
Yeah, but
It's
is
fine.
Buggy a robot?
It's so fucking funny though.
But it's Buggy a
because
Bugbot?
It's a Buggy a robot.
Bugbot.
Bugbot 3000. But it's just like I'll just say this, Oda, in case you don't know, I like bugs. Women like bugs. Women like robots. We like robots. It's just like it's just like one of those jokes where it's like boys like bugs and girls don't. Boys like the robots and girls don't. Yeah, basically. And I'm just like I'm multifaceted, man. You know, I had my bug arc. I had my oh man, I had a
Molly's bug
I had
arc.
a cyborg arc, not cyborg. I definitely had a robot arc. All right, it's called Transformers. Caden, I
Nice.
think you have also had a Transformers arc where you desperately love Transformers as well.
Oh, I love RC and Black Arachnia so much, and Cheetor was my boy, and
Optimus.
Optimus is fine. I'm not actually the biggest fan of Optimus. I like a lot of the like. There's a lot of. We can
You
talk
remember
about
the
that. We
Rat
could.
Trap pack.
Okay.
Look what you did.
If you're asking me this, I'm going to. Quick 60 seconds with me. Hi, nice to meet you.
I was
I'm
just waiting
Kate.
for the Rat Pack joke. That's all I
Here's my little 60 seconds about this. Rat Trap is fantastic character, really fun, really goofy. Not all Italians talk like that. Please, can we get away from that trope?
That's the matter with chat.
Oh my god. All right, we're moving on. Rat Trap was
And
fine.
we're back. So one of the tete-a-tetes that we get with this, like we're building up to this arc, or to the climax of this arc. Luffy's shadow is in Oars, and all of our crewmates are trying to fight desperately to get his shadow out. But while that's happening, Luffy is on the outskirts with the zombie horde, and they're just stuffing him full of shadows, as many as he can physically muster. Because of his devil fruit, he can handle it a little bit more than the average human. So with that, we get another new form or version or toy of Luffy, which is Nightmare Luffy. And they gave him a soul that knows how to use a sword. So now Luffy could use a sword on top of everything.
Nightmare Luffy's cool.
Nightmare Luffy was very cool. And we got this battle of Oars versus Luffy. And because Luffy's shadow was so strong, Oars not only sounds like Luffy, so we get another great performance, but Oars tries to do the Gummo Gummo no, the various attacks to no avail.
Until it does work because Gecko Moria starts using some manipulation tactics using his own devil fruit and some modifications.
He hacks.
Yeah.
He hacks, dude.
Speaking of like mecha anime, starts using him as Oars as a mecha. And it's this thing of, all right, Luffy's fighting on even ground with Oars and then defeats Oars. But then Moria pulls the similar thing to what Luffy does and absorbs a ridiculous amount of souls and becomes Thicko Moria. And
oh no,
I didn't like saying it, but that's what my notes said, so I had to do it. But it's
right.
Do you have to listen to your notes? Do we have to?
The last time I didn't listen to my notes, I said Grand Line. I didn't say Grand Line Internet. I just said the internet, and y'all got real mad at me. So I'm gonna listen to my notes from now on.
Good.
But
Stick to your guns.
Post it in the thing.
Yeah, he's pretty thick.
Look at that boy's veiny neck. I don't like it.
He's like this. He's like a bullfrog, where it's just like his neck just like protrudes.
He got thick everywhere, but those gams.
Because he starts like sucking it. He starts sucking on the glass, and getting all the souls in him and everything. And it's so creepy. Like that transformation sequence, unsettling to watch. Didn't like it. Made me feel icky.
This now that you mention it, this whole arc is like freak of the month of like how weird can we get? All right, let's pull back from here.
Freak of the month derogatory.
Freak of the month derogatory. But this big climax leads to all of the Gecko Moria being beaten. All of the souls are released. Everybody gets their shadows back. just as the sun starts to come out. And something that we didn't mention was just before the crux of this big story, a second Shichibukai visits the island, and we meet Bartholomew Kuma,
Paw hands.
a large bearman with the paw
He's got
hands.
Little
beans.
tiny beans.
He's got bean hands.
Finger
Yeah.
beans.
This guy is
Very.
all about that Bible.
All about that Bible
Bible.
life. He's literally a Bible thumper.
Wow.
He'll hit you with it.
Wow.
This is there's also something that's kind of important. Perona tries to run away.
Well, we didn't. We also, but I totally missed. We talked about Perona, how much we loved her. Do we want to talk about at all how Usopp uses his deep-seated depression to win a fight against Perona?
Yeah. It turns out that Usopp actually has a devil fruit power, which is depress no me, which means that he's always sad, and always sad means that Perona's powers don't work on him. So they have this really cool fight.
Epic fight.
Like it's one of the most fun and unique fights. I feel like what Khalifa and Nami had in the last arc, this was Usopp's version of that, where it's just like, hey, I can actually be useful in ways that other people can't. I actually have my own strengths because Zoro couldn't do anything. Zoro could do nothing. And Usopp was just like, oh my gosh, I'm the strong one now. And it was a cool moment for him, and it was really great.
It was a good moment too, because it wasn't just Usopp realizing his value. It was like Sanji and Zoro were like, let's get this girl. Oh, forget it. And then it's like Usopp's like, what? I'll get her. And then it's like, what do you, bro, why did you get hit? And he's like, yes. Like, leave this to me. Like, they see the value of Usopp.
Yep.
Not that they don't already, but it's like added to the list of like reasons why we stand Usopp.
But after that, Perona is just like, I'm getting the hell out of here. Which, I mean, once you realize, it's like Perona's kind of got this like whole thing of where she ends up being just like, oh my gosh, we're the bad guys. I'm gonna leave. I'm still a pirate, so I'm gonna steal some treasure while I'm leaving. But like, I'm gonna leave. Maybe I don't want to be here anymore. And as she's making her way out, I'm gonna go to their ship. I'm gonna steal it, and I'm gonna just peace out. She gets there. Bartholomew Kuma shows up and is just like, hey, what up? If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you want to go? And she's just like, I don't know, someplace like creepy, but like nice, maybe a Victorian castle or something, but any place that's not here. He's like, yeah, cool, neat.
Excellent.
And then she just goes poof and vanishes. And it's just like, and we won't talk about that ever again, because that will never happen again, and nothing ever involves that exact situation ever again.
But it's sort of it's an establishment of Kuma and I would even say the power gap between Moria and Kuma.
Mm-hmm. Thank God Nami was there to witness that. Otherwise, nobody would have known what happened to Perona. But luckily, Nami was like making her way back towards the ship and was like ducked behind a pillar and witnessed this and was like, oh no, we gotta get out of here. This guy is like, and I think in that moment,
He just got slapped to smithereens.
I think they have said in that conversation, or it's like at some point that it's like, oh, Warlord Kuma, what are you doing here? Because Nami's like, oh my god, I gotta get out of here. I gotta let everybody know there's like somebody even worse, way worse than Gecko Moria that's here, and I gotta go tell them what is going on. And then just walks into like, what are you guys doing? What is this shit? Like, what the hell is all this going on? And that's the fight with like essentially the crew versus Luffy. The crew versus Luffy's shadow. And that's such a good fight. It's just like, I mean, it's not like the shadow knows, right? It's just like a guy in Orz's body. But Orz is just like, I was gonna get you guys. And they're just like, you fool. Like, why do you think you have assembled us? It's because we strong, baby. And it's like,
there's a man inside of me.
It's just like, it's just like a really good fight where it's like, you fool. Like, we love you. We're gonna knock you on your ass.
We're gonna take every opportunity to beat Luffy up as we can.
And it's a great teamwork. It's a great moment of teamwork with like no real repercussions. It's not actually Luffy. They got to get Luffy's shadow out of this thing. And so it's kind of like a no holds bar like team up. And I love the part.
Frankie makes like column nunchucks.
Yeah. Oh, that was earlier, I think.
Still, that's rad as hair.
Yeah, it's super rad.
Mhm.
But it's like there's just so many funny times though where they do the whole like 5-person team up fight, and then it's like he's down, we did it, and then it's like he gets back up and they're like retreat, like they all have to they're all like running away to try again, and it's just like such a like this is where we're at right now, like this is where all of us are at in this moment. It's just like trying to take down Luffy's shadow, and then the whole thing with Luffy and like dude's like jacked up on that illegal spook drink, can use a sword, saves Nami. I'm just like play by playing here. There's just so much. It's like,
are we going back?
I don't know, man. It's just like there's just so much good stuff like towards the end here that's just like really important. We haven't even established Frankie like speaking on Brooke's behalf as to why they should try and help him out.
How sort of difficult and questionable the middle of this arc is. Does that make the end where everybody gets their comeuppance and the fights and the hard-hitting nature of everything, does that make it a better payoff?
No, they're still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
I feel like, I mean, we all hate Gecko Moria, but I feel like it's a very long time before we even address his whole thing.
The thing is, like Moria is like, I feel like in the sense of like being thematic, yeah, of course the big bads are always going to be bigger and badder and more of detestable people. But this is the first time where out of the 4 people that are like the evil bad guys, 3 of them are just detestable, deplorable, awful monsters before they even become the people we know them as now. And then Perona's just like, I like the aesthetic. I like Hot Topic.
I thought this was a hot topic. I'm just here.
Yeah,
for the
definitely met up for the money and the hot topic nature of it,
Right,
but is not a it's like the one redeemable person out of this 4-person crew. Like there's not a whole lot of bad going on with her, whereas like this guy is like forcing himself on women, and like this guy is just like totally everything bad about Hogback, and then this thick Nick guy over here, Gecko Moria. It's just like, and then there's Perona, who's just like about the aesthetic
and making people sad a little bit.
It's like the ending of this arc, the payout's
foreshadowing. That's really all we get out of this is foreshadowing and Brooke. And I'm going to be honest, like if I take a look at this objectively, Thriller Bark isn't really that great. Like it's an arc that has some fun, really big fun moments, but it's greatly outweighed by a lot of just like early era One Piece being early era One Piece. Like this is, this is like a lot of like, well, I don't really, I guess.
Like, there's stuff that's in it that you don't want to remember, and there's also stuff in it that you will never forget.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff gets
that's a problem.
A lot of stuff gets referenced back to this arc too, for like one that feels both long and short, that both nothing and everything happens during, like in the coming arcs. A lot of stuff gets referenced to what happens during this whole thing, and it's one of those, it's very conflicting arc. Like, people who have not watched or read One Piece in a long time will be like, "Oh, Thriller Bark was so much fun," and then when you
revisit it, and it's like
you revisit it and you realize there are a lot of like really not okay thematic, themes, and like
manager of this Hot Topic is kind of a douche.
I'll go to the one at the mall next door.
Yeah, exactly. It's because out of everything that happens in this arc, the one thing that is so memorable about it is probably what we're going to touch on next. Has nothing to really do with anything else. It's more of like who Brooke is, and we're about to find out who that person is and why he's meaningful to us, why he's important to us, who've watched or read the series up to this point. And this is the reason why everyone says I love Thriller Bark, is because of this moment.
And so as a result of everything that happens, as everything starts to go down, people get their shadows back, morning starts to break, and Kuma starts his rampage, so to speak. Everybody starts attacking, everybody goes down. He destroys the huge main castle of Thriller Bark. And as everybody sort of comes to the next day, we have an offer from Kuma, which begins our questioning of who exactly this man is. Shichibukai, we know that they are former pirates, but they work for the government. But we know that everybody sort of has their own agenda, and we've learned that with Crocodile, where Crocodile sort of has his own agenda for his own means. And what are these means of all of these other pirates? And with Kuma, he's like, I am going to take Luffy. But Zoro traded his life for Luffy's, and then Sanji was like, no, I will. Zoro knocks him out.
Mm-hmm.
And Kuma goes, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to take all of Luffy's pain and give it to you. And then we'll be square. And he takes like a little soupçon of Luffy's pain and throws it at Zoro and provides another memorable panel or section of the show where absolute agony, Zoro is just hurting from every pore, and when you see this giant paw of pain, despite all of that, a moment that I think cemented Zoro as some people's favorite characters is he dives essentially headfirst into it and is like, of course I will help my captain out. But we get a little thing from Kuma of like, all right, good guy, good crew. I made the right decision. Luffy feels great. Zoro is just standing covered in blood, and Zoro's like, no big deal, nothing happened.
No big deal.
And
very
Sanji's just
few
like,
people know
Sanji's
why.
like, yo, you okay? That's the first moment where Sanji's actually nice.
Bro,
to
you
Zoro.
good?
It's like, you okay, bro?
Are you good?
And Zoro's just like, fine. and Sanji's just like, cool, just checking up on you. And then Sanji just walks away, and Zoro's just like, I can't believe he bought that.
And he just
Epic. I'm so
balls.
epic right now.
But he's just like, Zoro is out of blood. Like, realistically, he's just out of blood.
That guy is a blood bank in himself.
Seriously. But we get that big moment with Zoro, which leads into the celebration that we get sort of traditionally after every arc, where everybody parties and has a wonderful celebration of their lives back. And we get a little bit of Brook playing Bink Sake, which is a song that he used to play all the time. Luffy remembers it because it's the song that Shanks and his crew used to sing all the time back at home. And so they connect over that. But that's when we find out that Brook, I would really love to come with you, but I have an old debt that I need to repay first. I have to go meet this whale. And I know this sounds crazy. I promised a whale that I would come back and tell him stories and play music. And Luffy goes, aces, I bet, I got you. And we have this flashback, and we learn Brook's story, and everybody's starting to cry in the Discord. But we hear the story of the Rumbar Pirates. We meet Captain Yorkie, and everybody falls ill with a virus. And
which was definitely a little bit of a moment when watching it for me.
Especially catching up now. Oh my god,
it was rough, fam.
As the Rumba Pirates are set adrift in the calm belt with no means of healing themselves, they decide to record one last performance of Bink Sake at full power, at least at the beginning of the song, for Laboon, to play for Laboon when they meet back up with him.
The whittle. The whittle.
The whittle whale.
Don't worry, Laboon.
It's like
Don't worry,
Brooke is
Laboon.
like,
We'll be back here in 3 years.
Oh boy.
like, dude, I know it's gonna sound crazy.
About that.
I know this sounds crazy. Listen. I know it sounds crazy. I gotta go back and see a guy about a whale. You know, I gotta go talk to this whale.
I've got to
And Luffy was like, "Bro, that's crazy." Because me too. I can't believe, man. That's more
weird.
relatable than I thought it would
Yeah,
be.
that's weird. What was the name of your whale?
Yeah.
It's Laboon.
Ugh.
Laboon? It was so
And
funny.
it's something that I talk about in our movie episodes of giving the audience a piece of information to hold on to add to the stakes of everything. Because we already liked Brooke at that point. And when Frankie was confiding with Brooke, we got sort of a tease of like, yeah, I gotta see a man about a whale, essentially. Which makes everybody be like, wait.
It's wild because
We know a whale.
he
Laboon, isn't it?
it's just wild because he tells Robin and Frankie about Laboon, like 2 of the 3 current shipmates who like weren't there for the it was just like the first 5, and they're like, man, that's sad. Like, I hope that guy meets his whale sometime.
Whoa,
We should help this guy out.
That's rough, buddy.
We should help this guy out. And then it's like the rest of the Straw Hats being like, Laboon? What are the chances?
We get Brooks' sad backstory. He dies as he lived, remembering his whale friend, and his soul got lost because the ship was adrift. He didn't know that when you died and your soul came back, that you had to find your body again. So by the time he found his body, it had decomposed into a skeleton, and thus we have Brooke, the gentleman skeleton. And it doesn't beat out I Want to Live, but I'd say something that comes in a very close second, and something that gets me every single time.
Agreed.
Is when Luffy says no, like, and it's also like Luffy's not saying it as a joke. Luffy's saying, "Oh, I know somebody. I know him. I know Laboon," and is saying it so genuinely. At least I can speak for the Japanese voice, but just like, no, really, we met him. He's gotten so big, and he keeps, like, we know that he's still waiting for you. And Brooke just like on the keys stops, and you see tears, and he goes, "He's okay." I'm so happy to be alive. Like, what a thing! Like, it echoes
From a skeleton.
It's like,
and it's like a skull choke.
it's like
The dub hits those emotional beats. I literally, like, this was one of those times where it's like, usually I flip between the two pretty regularly, where I'll watch like 2 or 3 episodes in English and then 2 or 3 episodes in Japanese, just to kind of like balance things out. But this was a series of episodes that I watched, similar to the I Want to Live Robin backstory, where I watched all of it in English, then I went back and I watched all of it in Japanese, and then I rewatched it again in both about a week later, just to kind of like give myself like distance from it and to be like, does it still hit? Now that I know everything. And yeah, with both versions, like, there's just so much, like,
It's dead.
With Robin's and with Brooks, both versions of it, just not only do they knock it out of the park, they hit those pauses, those emotional beats, those grand, like, declarations of, like, overwhelming joy and that new resolve, like, both for Brooke and Robin. It's wonderful. It's super beautiful. It's handled so well. And it's like, again, coming after, it's like in the case of Thriller Bark, it's such a juxtaposition of, like, here's some really gross, nasty stuff, and you really don't like most of this when you're actually in those moments. And then here's this cherry that's like the most delicious cherry in the world is on top of this. And it's just like,
it's like the entirety of the last arc is just like us as the viewer just being like, we're finally back. Like, the crew is on steady ground again. They aren't like self-doubting anymore. They know who they are and they know what they want, and they're going to go get Robin back. And in that moment where she's like, I want to live, it's like that moment is so emotional on so many different levels, but mostly it's like finally Robin is on board. Like it's one of those moments where like when the crew's like, you got it, like it's like that determined, like, let's go get her, guys, and everyone's like, yeah, we're gonna go get her. Where it's like this moment is also so emotional for very similar beats. Instead of like the entire arc of like, we got to get Brooke on our side. Like, where did Brooke go? Doesn't Brooke know we're bros? We already told him he can join the crew. It's more of like, this guy seems okay, and he's kind of in line with the stuff we're dealing with right now. So it's like, we'll just tentatively say he's an ally. Like, he hasn't like messed with us at all. So, you know, if he's around, I guess you can say hi to him. But it's this moment where it's just like, you're just so happy for him, because it's like, not that you're not happy for Robin, like you're happy that she's finally like, I want to live. Like, this is, I'm finding meaning in life, and I'm not ready. Whereas like this moment with Brooke, where you're just like, oh,
Tears forming in your eyes.
and then it's like you just keep just like, oh, this guy. It's basically like the first like 5 minutes of Up, where you're seeing this man's entire life, and you're going through it with him, and you know how it's gonna end, and it's just like, oh, and it's just,
How long did he wait? It was like 40, 50 years?
He was
something?
there for 50 years.
he's like 100 something.
He's like it's almost like, it's
a time skip. I think he'll be like 100.
We talked about it in one of our Get to Know What Straw Hat, if you listen to previous episodes.
Yeah.
But
88.
There's
Yes, sorry.
Good year.
But this
when I was born. The worst year.
The worst generation.
Me too.
But yeah, but just this moment where you're like, you just went through it all. You saw what he's going through, and then for Luffy to give him hope, like this guy is really holding on, but he's not really even sure if like Laboon's even still there, right? Like, he has not had any word about Laboon at all. And then it's like, you're like, oh God, oh no. And then that Luffy can just give him that, where he's like, I'm so happy I'm still alive. Like, thank God all of those years I was waiting on that ship are going to amount to something. And it's like a different type of emotional, where you're like, yeah, oh God, good for her. Like,
One of the things that I like about this whole epilogue to Thriller Bark, and like you said, Molly, this is the thing. These are the things that people remember, is for an arc all about death, you know, and it really ends with a celebration of life and living. And even Brooke shares arguably his greatest treasure, which is the tone dial with the recording. And he sets it on the piano, hits play, starts playing around, and he can, instead of listening to it and mourning his crew that he's lost, he can now listen to it with a new life, a new purpose, and a new sense of adventure. And it's just what a wonderful note to end on. If only it was the note that we end on. Because we get a couple of last minute nuggets of information. Frankie, a couple days later, Frankie and Chopper, they've built a grave for the Rumble Pirates so that Zoro can pay respects. Zoro lays his sword in the ground, the one that got all rusty, and pays his respects. Pays his respects to Ryuma as well, and yoinks his sword. He's back up to 3. And from there, we get a little bit of something from Lola that's interesting. Lola gives Nami a piece of paper, calls it a Viver card, and says, look, if you need anything, this points to my mom in the new world. She will help you out in a second. Great, cool. Aces, let's go. Speaking of Ace, Luffy remembers Luffy remembers the piece of paper that Ace gave him, looks at it, and sees that it's burning into a cinder. And Lola's like, yo, that's goofed, bro. You better check on that. And Luffy's
bro,
like,
that ain't right.
No, that's fine. He's fine. It's Ace. He'll take
Everything's
care of
fine.
It's okay.
Luffy's in
It's
a
all
room
right.
full of burning paper, and it's like, it's fine.
This is okay. Everything's okay.
And the crew, on escaping Thriller Bark in the Florian Triangle, they pull out their log post toward Fishman Island, and let's go. And that is the end of Thriller Bark.
We're
and
definitely going to Fishman Island.
And at some point, eventually, maybe, but
Eventually
with
going to Fishman Island.
the little bit that follows, just because I want to talk about the in between, is Brook trying to find his place on the ship, and him trying to be like a doctor's assistant, a chef's assistant. Like, I could help with that. I could do that. Just being so excited to be in a new place, and everybody was like, Brook, you don't do what you do best and what makes you happy, and we'll be even more happy that you're here. And I would say
It was
even
really
more
cute.
so, it's cute and emotional, and it putting the pin, the true end of the arc to me is I'm gonna cry, is the sunset and Brook playing Bing Sake on the violin for everybody to hear, and it's because I'm getting more and more emotional. But Brook playing the violin to Bing Sake and being like, well, that's it for this Straw Hat adventure. Stay tuned for the next one. But that sort of emotional beat of, all right, I'm alive, and I get to leave. It's so beautiful. It's just so beautiful.
That's something that they definitely only did in the anime. That was not in the manga, and that sounds really nice. Like, just like
it's really cute. It's a
quick episode to explain the dynamics between Brook and different people.
I will
That's
say,
nice.
here's the whole spiel about that, and this is why you might not like it as much, Molly. So it's called Spa Island arc. It starts at 382 and ends at 384.
Well, I don't count it as a part of Spa Island.
Just stop. This is the way that everybody categorizes it. So hold on, I want to make Molly mad. So Spa Island is this 3-episode little mini arc that's mostly like not canon. There's some moments.
Oh no! I just looked at the wiki article.
The Straw Hats take a vacation at Spa Island, where they encounter Molly's boyfriend Foxy and his crew who are pursuing. It's a whole. It's very silly, but it does lead into that moment with like after doing that, they kind of have some notes that like in 384, which is the Brook episode, which I do recommend watching. Like that you can skip the other two if you really want to. Molly, though, I do definitely recommend watching 384 since you said that's not necessarily in the manga. I wish this didn't have 2 episodes of stupid before it, because 384 should have been 382. If you put 381 and next to 384, it works better, which is how I watch it in like my rewatch. When I went back and I rewatched stuff, I skipped those 2 because I'm just like, oh, this flows way better.
Is this the episode where like Brook and Zoro are lifting weights, and then Brook's like legs like fall asleep, and then he's like, I gotta poop, like it's happening, and Zoro's gotta carry him to the bathroom? I see that gif a lot. And I always assume it's from a movie. I never know.
Watch 384, Molly. Watch 384, Molly. You'll enjoy
it. You know what? For Jack Bonesman, I'll do it.
For the Bonesman.
Did anybody have anything else that they wanted to talk about for Thriller Bark before we disembark into spoiler territory?
We're definitely going to Fishman Island.
I love Garp. I love Garp.
I love Garp.
Brook immediately shot into my heart, like just instantaneously. Brook and Perona are the good things from this arc. The rest of it, I kind of can take or leave.
What is the opening where you're like, who's this? This guy's joining the crew.
Literally, it's before we even get to Thriller Bark, because the stupid like ice, non-canon thing has this new thing. I'm just like, Well, we've been looking for a musician this entire time. Here's a dude with a violin. There you go.
And that's a joke. That's Jack Bonesman, milady. That ain't gonna happen.
It's Mr. Bonesman.
What episode? What episode were we on? Oh, was it the Alabasta episode where I just happened to slide in that it's been 50 years, and then Kanan was like, "Wait a minute,"
Nani?
and I was like, "Oh no, oh no." It's like one of the best twists.
On that note,
One of the best twists of One Piece, and I was like, "Oh no!"
Well, get ready for.
Why did I say that?
Hey, Mark, you want to take us into spoiler territory so I can make Molly feel bad again?
If you are as you heard at the beginning of the show, Caden is at a certain level of episodes beyond what we're talking about today. The Laughborg, Al, and Captain Molly and I are all completely caught up. So if you are watching along with us and have just finished Thriller Bark, congratulations, you finished Thriller Bark. You should probably turn away because we're getting into spoily waters. This is we appreciate you listening. Thank you for listening. And make sure to tell your friends if you're watching One Piece with your friends, or if anybody else bring them onto the show. Follow us at Yayo Talk Show.
Leave us a review. Talk to us on social media. We're lonely.
All of that good stuff that we're going to go into much more detail after we get into Spoiler Town. But it's time for Caden to live up to her moniker. Okay. Wild Theorist Caden.
Hello.
What you got?
Okay. Well, I just want to talk about one thing today because Molly decided to bring it up. And now, since Molly brought it up, my brain's been firing on all cylinders. And it's been a while since I've theorized because I've been taking I took a break from One Piece. Again, I'm at 522. 522. I took some time off of One Piece because I watched like nearly 300 episodes in about 2-3 weeks, which is a lot of episodes, just so we're clear. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to pull what Molly said back out. Bring it up.
It's going to be a surprise to all of us because none of us know what you're talking about.
So Molly mentioned something that kind of bothered me. Yeah, I'm hearing it. Molly worried now. So Molly mentioned something that Sanji said to I literally forgot his name because
Absalom?
Absalom, right. So Sanji and Absalom were talking and Sanji had knowledge. I didn't even put that point on there. Sanji had knowledge of the devil fruit, and he mentions having a book as a kid that told him all about devil fruit. But then Molly went on to say something else that was a little bit that we all kind of already know. Where we saw Sanji, where Sanji was when we met him, and even earlier than that, when he was younger, he was in the East Blue. And if you know anything about the East Blue, they don't really know much about devil fruit. If they were surprised by Buggy and Luffy, and there was super rare to meet somebody with a devil fruit power back then when we were in the early episodes, that's weird. How would Sanji have a book that told him about devil fruit as a kid?
Kids don't have books.
It's a little piece of information that I didn't quite pick up on until Molly brought it to my attention, again, accidentally. So that gives us some pieces of information that you can kind of like rip from there. If the East Blue folks don't really necessarily know too much about devil fruits, and it's very rare to come across them there, versus where in like say the Grand Line and the Red Line, it's a little bit more common. And the New World, where it seems like it's just going to be, everybody's got a devil fruit. Don't worry about it. This is where probably they come from. That gives me a piece of information that I really should have been able to put together before, but I was kind of like in the middle of crying over being sake. So Sanji isn't from the East Blue. Can't possibly be. Doesn't make any sense. And that means he's from some place that's way far away. So he could be from the Grand Line, though I feel like it would have come up during that time. And if it was from the Red Line, then I feel like that would have come kind of like been introduced there. So Sanji's probably from the New World, because that makes sense as to why there would have been a book about devil fruit, because if the devil fruit come from the New World, then they're not as rare, and they'd be able to piece all that information together, and it would be easy to come by a book there. Even so, it would still be relatively rare. So we can also get some information from that. While it still would probably be a lot more common in the New World, it's still some super valuable information, which means that he was either from a very famous family who would have privilege to that information, a very rich family, have money to be able to buy that information, or a very powerful family, which would be just intimidation, being able to get that information, whether people like it or not. So he's probably from the New World. He's from either a very famous, very rich, or very powerful family. Could possibly be all three or a combination of them in some which way possible, because we actually don't know, and I've mentioned this before, we don't know Sanji's family. It's one of the few instances where we don't have any familial real relationship or link to. So that means to me that ... we're going to meet Sanji's family in the New World. Not only are we going to meet Sanji's family, they're going to be terrible. They're going to be awful because they threw a child away. They threw a kid away because that's where they kind of like found it. Like that's what it's like. It's like, oh, he's a kid. He was abandoned, blah blah blah. And he's so. My point is that whoever Sanji's actually related to, whatever Sanji's name actually is, and it's probably something like, you're, and it's going to be just like a huge thing, and everybody's going to be like, well, we're stupid. And not only that, there's probably going to,
Sanji is 3-piece.
No,
that's his last name.
No, that's it. That's it. I got it.
Mr. One. He's
I
Mr.
got
One
it.
Piece.
I got it.
3-piece.
The one thing that's the most
Sanji the clown.
What is Sanji's most identifiable trait?
His terrible. He's pro
bad vibes. It's really bad rank vibes.
I'm gonna
Heaving out the lady.
Cancel.
watch Molly mute in 3 seconds.
No. Eyebrows.
One,
eyebrows.
2, 3. Yeah, it's eyebrows, which means that nobody's really put 2 and 2 together. Nobody's put 2 and 2 together because the people who we've met have no idea what that physical characteristic trait is. So his entire family has to have those eyebrows. And when we get to the New World, people are going to be noticing those eyebrows and be like, hello?
Can I offer one rebut? Because especially because like the three of us didn't catch it and immediately started sweating when you were like, Molly gave up an important piece of information, isn't it? Considering he came from a chef, like a restaurant background, they might
book on vegetables.
They might have had a book, like he might have been like, oh, I found a recipe book. It's like, we can't cook with those, you idiot. And that's how he like that's the only thing
that's
that I would
really
have to
funny,
rebut.
but it sounds a lot like bullshit to me.
It sounds a lot like something Oda would genuinely do.
I just looked up a Reddit post that said, hey, when he said this thing, does that mean anything? And people went, I guess it's an inconsistency.
No,
I can show you.
There is an SBS about that. I think in the next arc where someone's like, Mr. Oda, there's a book about the devil fruit, and he was like, yes. And it's just like, then why is it such a surprise? And he's just like, I don't know. People don't go to the library.
Information is valuable. They literally torched Robin's entire life to the ground to protect information. You're trying to tell me that there's no way that Sanji isn't from the New World and isn't
Sanji.
No, that's it. No,
Sanji is the one person.
Y'all be sweating too much.
Hold on. We didn't say anything about that. I'm just talking about him having a cookbook.
Mm-hmm. Why would it be a cookbook? Why would you cook the devil fruit? They taste like ass.
That's what
we were just saying.
I mean, yeah.
There's no reason. There's no reason.
I like ass. Who doesn't? No.
What we said is Sanji as a kid was trying to be helpful to Zeph, so he's like, "Look, I found a book about fruit," and they were like, "Those are devil fruit, kid."
No.
And that's like we didn't say anything about
No.
him being from the New World or not.
No.
Yes, and Caden. Yes,
No.
and
I just like the idea that maybe this knowledge is actually very out there. Like there's it's out there for you to find, and Sanji is the only person who is like, I wonder if I should take the quiz on like what my devil fruit should be. And it's like, it's the invisible fruit because you're a pervert. And he's like, cool, sick, cool. Or like just Google's like devil fruit. And it's like, did you mean the Gomu Gomu no fruit? Did you mean the Hana Hana? Like, no.
He went through autofill, every single possible autofill.
He's the one person who Googled it. And everybody else is like, we'll never know. And it's just like, fam.
also
fam?
Actually, which sea did you say he was or wasn't from, Caden?
Wasn't he East Blue? Well,
North Blue.
No, that's where we found him in East Blue.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But he's already said during Skypiea he's from the North Blue because he knew what Noland. He knew what the Nolan story was about.
Takes place in the North Blue.
Yeah, that just means he's familiar with it. I think he's a liar. I can't trust Sanji. Sanji sucks.
That guy's read a lot of books,
That
man.
guy
That's all I'm hearing.
Sanji sucks. Sanji's canceled. We'll find out why soon.
Man, that's coming up. Yeah.
That's coming up. Sanji, I can't trust a single word Sanji has ever said. And it seems like he's trying to like cover his tracks because he's from Bad People Island.
So to recap, Eyebrows, New World, not from where he says he's from.
I think his backstory is a lie.
We don't.
What is his backstory?
Because he literally his literal backstory is like, I'm from the North Blue. I've heard this before, and that's it. That's all the quote unquote information we got.
So what you're saying is not only does he not know this, but he's not from the North Blue.
He's a liar. He's a liar and a cheat and a thief.
That's
Sanji's backstory is, hey, do you guys want to hear my backstory? And everyone said, we don't give a shit, Sanji. And he's like, cool. Great.
Good.
Cool.
That's fair. That's fair.
Cool. Because there's nobody else who's like, hey, Zoro, what's your whole thing? And it's just like, do you really want to know? No, I don't really want to know. I know who you are now. I don't really give a shit. Does your backstory include a baby whale? No, I don't give a fuck about it. Okay, but literally every backstory we have seen in this show / manga, it's like, when has there ever been a backstory where somebody was like, here's my backstory? It's always like, we see it and it's like, all right, well, we don't need to know. We don't really need to know anything else. But it's like, actually, Brooke's backstory is the one time where Brooke's like, oh my God, let me tell you the story about Laboon. And everyone's like, Laboon!
We know that dude. Tight.
Toy. And then like Chopper and Robin and Frankie also got to hear. And it's like, oh, it's beautiful. So beautiful. What a great friendship.
Oh, man. So that's your prediction. You're locking that in. It's locked in.
Dirty Sanji is a dirty liar and comes from a dirty family of dirty, mean people who have lots of power or money or information, which is how he learned about devil fruit. And they all have curly eyebrows, and they're all probably just garbage people.
Yakuza Sanji.
Yeah, Caden wants the smoke. Before we go, let's tell the folks at home where you can find us and follow us. Caden.
You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram, KDINJENZEN. That's Caden Jensens, just my full name. And you can find me on the Rooster Teeth website, and that's just Caden.
Al?
You can find me on Twitter at AlMcClellanJR, ALMCCLELLANDJR. That's it.
You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram at Mark Bidonica. And how about you, Cap?
You can find me on Twitter at TEHFLOD, Tefled, and you can find me on Tumblr at Molly Flood, depending on what you're looking for. And we have a Yayo Talk Show Tumblr, Twitter
and Tumblr.
Doubles.
All of them.
A Tumblr. Man, all right. Yeah. We also have a Yayo Talk Show Tumblr, where if you enjoy any kind of One Piece content, update it pretty frequently. So if you come check it out, check us out on Tumblr.
Nailed it.
Look us up and follow us.
And follow us on Twitch, too.
Right.
Because
yeah.
if we haven't been utilizing that, we're going to be utilizing that soon. But going along with how most arcs and sagas have ended, now that you've listened to the episode, you've joined our crew. With that comes the responsibility of telling your friends, leaving a comment, following us on Twitter and Twitch at Yayo Talk Show, and letting Caden watch the show in one piece.
Yo.
So come aboard, and we'll see you next time on Yayo Talk Show.
Talking about
One Piece.